In addition to moving panels, you'll also spend a lot of time in Photoshop switching tools. Now, every tool has a keyboard shortcut. For example, if I tap the V key, I'll access the Move tool. If you don't know the shortcut for the tool, you can hover your cursor on top of it, and the tooltip will display the shortcut. Most of the tools, the ones with a little triangle in the lower right, have nested tools underneath them, and if you click and hold on that tool, those tools will fly out. And you can see that all of the tools that are nested together have the same keyboard shortcut. So how would I access the other tools if the lasso tool is on top and I want to access one of the nested tools? Well, if I tap the L key again, that simply stays on the lasso. If I hold down the Shift key and tap the L, then I cycle through all of the nested tools that are underneath that primary tool. If you want to change this, you can go under the Photoshop menu and then choose Preference and then General. The default is to use the Shift key for the tool switch, but if you simply want to be able to tap a key multiple times to cycle through the nested tools, you can uncheck this. Now, when I tap the L key without the Shift key, you can see that I'm cycling through the tools. So it's up to you whether or not you want that preference. I'll go ahead and select Photoshop Preferences General again. Of course, on Windows, this would be under the Edit menu and then Preferences. And I'm going to require using that Shift key for my tool switch. The tools by default are in a single column, but if I click these two arrows, then they're presented in a double column. I'll go ahead and switch that back to a single column because it takes up a lot less space. I can also float my tools anywhere by clicking on this little grabber bar and then dragging the tools. Now that they're no longer docked, I can actually reposition them anywhere, including on a secondary screen. I can also nest them with the panels on the right-hand side. If I want to move them back, all I need to do is grab the grabber handle and then move them to the left until I see that solid vertical blue line and release the mouse. There's another behavior called spring-loaded cursors. For instance, if I tap the M key to get the Marquee tool, and then I want to temporarily swap to another tool, such as the Lasso tool, instead of tapping the L key, I can hold down the L key, which would give me the Lasso tool. But when I release the L key, I will be sprung right back to the original tool that I had selected. So you should know that there's a difference. If you just tap the key, then you'll be moved to that tool permanently. If you hold down a key, you'll be moved to the tool temporarily, and when you release the key, you'll be taken back to the previous tool. And you'll note when you do change tools, the options for those tools appear in the options bar. So if I tap the V key for the Move tool, we get all of the options for that tool. When I tap M for Marquee, we'll get the Marquee options. This is really convenient because it's a great way for Photoshop to save space because you will only see the options for the tool that you have selected. Now don't worry about learning all of the shortcuts to all of the tools right away. Over time, you'll learn the ones that you need, and soon enough, it will be second nature to just use the keyboard shortcut.